Bruce must win because he's the reigning champion. First up, Steelers and Philly, Sunday at 4 on Fox. Philly trying to fight off the supernatural funk, which picks up right around the holidays, Brew. In the last 3 years, in the fall, 29-4, everything looks great. And then next thing you know, ooh, a little drunk on the eggnog. 7-7, point per game differential goes down, and turnover differential goes way down to -12. Brew, you are the reigning champion, and much like Family Feud, you can pass or play. Do you want to go first here?
I'll go first.
Okay, here we go.
Absolute must win.
Wow.
We all know it. You guys are just going to say some other version of what I say. All the noise surrounding the Eagles right now.
Yes.
I mean, and if they go out there and lose this week after A.J. Brown and Brandon Graham just started a fire, imagine if they lose this week, how loud that noise will be. It will increase 100-fold. All right? And if they lose trying to get the ball to A.J. Brown more than they have in the past,
thought they were playing chess.
I thought, that's what I'm saying. If they go out there and try to throw it to him too much and lose because of that, and Jalen, who has thrown 1 interception in this win streak, 9 games, throws 1 or 2 or 3 interceptions, oh my, the supernatural funk will be knocking at their door. So yeah, this is an absolute must win. And if they win, then it all goes away and they can laugh at the media for making such a big deal out of it.
Great take.
I'm not sure what it's called in the media. I think it's called tree topping, what you just did. But now I'm going to give you a little bit of depth to what your take just was. So this is a must not overcorrect. Okay, so let's bring up the graphic here, and let me show you what happened. So here's Jalen Hurts' record when he throws 30+ times, which he did the first 4 games of the season. Here, 4 TDs, 4 interceptions, 2-2. The last 9 games, he has not thrown 30 passes or more. And what happens? 9-0, okay? 12 TDs, 1 interception. That's depth.
Yeah.
That's another version.
But it was how they needed to win.
That's
because, so listen,
Yeah.
maybe it hurts my chance of getting the point, but I agree with Coach, and I'm gonna give a slightly different twist on the other side of the game as well. But first and foremost, Philly's gotta win playing the way they've been playing. If they win by all of a sudden feeding, like what Coach is saying, feeding A.J. Brown, Coach, I'm supporting that. I just chill for a second. I think that would be potentially a Pyrrhic victory, something that they get that, but then it leads to bigger problems. The flip side is this, Wilds. What, you didn't like that?
No one likes that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You don't mind Achilles' heel. It's the same type.
No one likes a $10 word. Yeah.
Okay, all right. It would be no good. But there you go. But the other reason is this. The Steelers' biggest game of the year for them is a week from now. No matter what they do the rest of their schedule, if they beat Baltimore in 10 days, they win that division. If they lose to Baltimore, Baltimore can come back in. But if they sweep Baltimore and Baltimore falls to 6 losses, it's over. So this game is important for Philly, not as important for Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That was good.
Let's talk about this. I'm going to go even deeper than what they're doing. All right. There's a few things to really unpack with this. You guys know I'm the king of making things not must wins. I'm always de-emphasizing things, and actually this was the first year that this channel was really active, and we were talking about must wins, and I was like, oh, this isn't a must win. This must win. It was like week 1, week 2, and people are like, are you crazy? This is a divisional game. Of course it's a must win. And I was like, all right, settle down. Now that we're getting deeper in the season, things feel a lot more of a must win. But the truth of the matter is that the Eagles made this a must win because of everything that's unfolded. So this is what Bruce saying, but I'm going to go deeper, as well as what Mangini said, because of some of the chaos that they brought onto themselves. Whether you want to say it's inflated or not, it doesn't matter. It still has the possibility to kind of fester and become worse and worse and worse. If none of that happened before, I would not say that this is a must-win. I would say the Steelers are a great team. They're a top team in the NFL, clearly. They have legitimate Super Bowl potential. They're the 3 seed right now. I mean, like, they're right there. They could even get the 2 seed. Like, they're winning the division. This is not some scrub Pittsburgh Steelers team. Like, this is a real, actual top team, and you can't be expected to beat the top teams every single time, right? We know that. We know that. So That's why it's like for these types of games, I always say, it's a must play great. It's a must play like you belong, that you deserve to be also a top team. Now, I don't think the Eagles have to prove that to anyone at this point in the season, but losing would cause things to kind of cause things to start to condense a little bit more and shrink a little bit more on the Eagles. And kind of like now what Mangini's saying, like if they're now trying to force the ball to AJ, now you get some multiple turnovers. Yeah, that could absolutely undeniably be problematic, because then you kind of get this push and pull, and it's just people will start to lose faith in Jalen Hurts' ability to pass, and it can fester and go in so many different negative directions that it would just be a problem. Even if they win, let's say they win 35-27 or something, some weird score. But Jalen Hurts threw 2 interceptions, 1 interception even, but AJ Brown really got his yards, got his touchdown, and they threw 33 pass attempts or something. People would still see that as problematic. And I wouldn't necessarily even disagree. So there's just a lot of extra unwarranted pressure on this game, unfortunately. And this is why you always just got to be smart at the mic. Don't bring in extra heat for yourself, extra pressure for yourself. But in terms of this graphic right here, this is where we're going to go a little bit deeper, because the first 4 games, 2-2, 33 pass attempts and 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Yes and yes, but also there was concrete injuries there. There was concrete injuries. First off, there was the beginning of the season, where everybody was throwing interceptions left and right. Make no mistake about that, right? A lot of quarterbacks were struggling. Teams all around the league were struggling. And Jalen Hurts was dealing with other injured players. Devontae's out of the lineup. AJ's out of the lineup. Dallas Goedert's out of the lineup. He's learning Kellen Moore's system. Kellen Moore's learning Jalen. This is a new everything, new coaching, new system, right? Like, so comparing those first 4 games is really largely irrelevant to me, because that's not what this team is. They're trying to figure out Saquon Barkley as well. How does Saquon Barkley integrate into this offense? There was too many moving pieces, not to mention they went like the all off season saying, all right, we're going to start this season. Let's go. And they're like, we got AJ, we got Dallas Goedert, we got Devontae, we got Saquon, we got Jalen. We're going to find a way to integrate this. Oh, never mind. AJ's gone. Okay, so now what do we do? All right, we got Devontae. Oh, nope, he's concussed. He's out. Okay, now what do we, like, there was a lot of moving parts that they now had to figure out on the fly. And that's a difficult thing to do with a new offensive coordinator who doesn't even fully understand his team yet. It's a harder thing to do for a coach that already has true established history with his players. You need to know your players deeply to be able to know what you can do with them in any given moment. Because Kellen Moore was just trying to figure out what to do when AJ, Devontae, Saquon, all of those guys were together. He was in the process of figuring out. And once he finally starts to kind of figure it out, now someone goes away. Just look at Shanahan. He struggles to kind of figure it out with a roster that he knows he's had for years. So again, that there was going to be some of these issues early on in the season. It takes a second to kind of figure it out. Now, obviously, they're more full strength. I know Dallas Goedert is down now, but still, for the most part, you got you got the core of what you would want to work with. So I wouldn't be able to explain if they now went 2-2 because Dallas Goedert went down. I wouldn't be like, oh well, it's because Dallas. Like, that would not necessarily be a viable excuse at this point. So that's why I'm just a little less interested in that stat. But I do agree, though, for a quarterback, passing over 30 or so times consistently is not the way to win. We know that. And I always joke, like, I'm almost happy that people don't know that, or that coaches don't do that, because if everyone just did that, then it would be like harder to make content. Like, because it is, we know this, whether you're Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, like, passing less, having a more balanced attack is going to be the way to go. The only time that you really are going to have a lot of those pass attempts, hopefully, is if you're doing a lot of those real quick throws, kind of like what you do see Patrick Mahomes do with Andy Reid. A lot of these quick, short passes that are pretty much like guaranteed completions, or, glorified runs, essentially, but they're just considered passing. Like, that's okay. But if you're really just dropping back and letting it rip 30-plus times a game, game after game, that has consistently shown to just not be the way forward for every quarterback. The sweet spot really does seem to be like 20 to 25. And obviously, if you're really lucky and you really got that run game going, or you're getting big explosive plays, then you flirt with those games where you are like 18, 20 or so. And we've seen Lamar Jackson do that, Jared Goff do that, right? And especially in the games when the offense is firing at all cylinders and you're just ripping through the defense. So again, it's not necessarily like a cookie cutter thing. It's not like every single game you could be like, we're only going to throw 23 times and that's it anymore. And we're going to hurt ourselves. Like, that's not the way how you can go about it either. But I'm just not interested in using those first 4 games as a frame of reference for any team at this point. And I do it for every team, whether it's the Bills, the Chiefs, the Lions, the Steelers. Like, it doesn't matter. These are all completely different teams at this point with injuries, rust, just getting back into the swing of things. The first game of the season, the Eagles were playing in Brazil on a slippery field. I mean, like, it was a mess. Jordan Love was letting it rip and having interceptions. Hurts was. I mean, like, it was everybody was slipping all over the place. Like, it was just a bizarrely weird game, and I just don't care about it. And it took a second for the Eagles to kind of get situated. And part of it was to figure out how to run this offense best. And it was to be a more run-first team. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I want to see them continue that. But you do want to see some games. And listen, I know they ended up pulling away against the Commanders. And they pulled away against the Bengals and the Rams. But there were various points in that game when it could have gone the other way. Right? There was absolutely different points in that game when you were like, ooh, yeah, I know the score pulled away, but like, this could have maybe gone a different way. Now, to be fair, the way how it really went wide open was a lot because of the run game, was because of Saquon going on explosive plays and doing big things. But you would like to be able to kind of create some of these games where you don't have that feeling. Like, you only want to have that feeling in like the first quarter when you're like, yeah, the score is 10-7, 7-0. Like, of course it could still go another way because it's the first quarter. You would like it to not feel so, again, like close. And I don't even mean just in score, but close in terms of like, oh man, if the Eagles are unfortunate to get like a bad fumble or pinned back in the back of the end zone, like, this game could go another direction. Or if the opposing team really does rip off a big 50-yard play, like, man, this game could kind of feel a little different. You want to not leave yourself open to that door. And so if they can, of course, get the passing game going and get more explosive plays, that is going to open up everything. And that will open up even more for Saquon. That will open up the run game even more. It'll just make you more of a threat. So I am all for keeping this Eagles identity the way it's been and how it's been working. But if there is still a way to bring up the passing game up a notch or two, that will only make the Eagles more dangerous. But again, it has to be done in a very smart, strategic, careful way. But it does have the potential to have a huge synergistic effect, because now imagine if you have AJ eaten too, and now it's like, well, hey, we got AJ, you got Saquon. Like, it just, AJ becomes less of a threat and more of the actual danger itself. Right now, he's more of a threat, which then helps open up the field, which helps get Saquon his touches and allows it to be problematic for teams. But if you now actually make him true danger, a true criminal, well, now it's just like, again, where are you going to put your attention to? So, I think if you continue to kind of minimize AJ Brown in a way that is still leading to victories, but you if you're a team, you start to hedge your bets now and you start to say, they're not really working the ball to AJ, like Jalen Hurts is not really doing it. And it's like, if they try to start to hedge their bets and be like, hey, we're going to go more all in on Saquon in those moments, and you better make the team pay by getting it to AJ, Devontae, etc. It is chess, checkers, Monopoly. It's all of it together combined, honestly. But like I just keep saying, they just have to be strategic and intentional and not try to go beyond what they are as a team and what has clearly been working. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? Do you think this is a must-win game for them? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.